It's also Halloween morning right now, and Cragfont Mansion is teaching Tennessee's history with a little bit of a ghoulish twist.
News 2's Maggie Weaver joins us live in Castalian Springs. She's got a spooky story for us this morning. Maggie, tell us about it.
Yeah, Mark and Nikel, we've actually moved inside the Cragfont Mansion now. We're standing here in the parlor where there's lots of history surrounding us. And I'm also here with the director. This is Tanya Staggs. She's going to tell us a little bit about something that was documented to have possibly happened right here in this room.
Right. So we're going to tell a story from Nell Satterwhite. Nell Satterwhite was born here around 1891. The Satterwhites owned Cragfont from 1890 to 1930, and Nell collected ghost stories that she experienced here. And this one happened when she was a little girl. She was somewhere 8, 9, 10, and it's summertime. Her and the neighborhood kids are exploring around, adventuring, and they head out to the Winchester family cemetery here at Cragfont. And in that cemetery are some graves that are box-shaped. So it sort of looks like the grave is actually above ground. That's in places like New Orleans, you find graves like that. But here in Tennessee, the box that sits on top of the ground is actually just kind of like a tombstone. And so it's just like any other grave. So the body is buried underneath the ground. But these kids didn't know that. So in their mind, they can take the lid off of one of these boxes and there will be a skeleton there. So one of the little boys, we might call him brave, right? He decides they're going to do this. So they pull back a little corner. They manage to get a little corner of the grave pulled away and look inside. And they don't see any bones, so they're a little disappointed. But they do see a tooth. Whether or not that's a human tooth, who knows? Because again, there shouldn't be human remains there. But the little boy takes that, puts it in his pocket, and there you go. Later that afternoon, actually probably early that evening, the kids are all gathered here in this parlor, probably right around the mantle here, and they're listening to stories from Nell's father, Mr. Satterwhite. And he would, when he told his stories, which was a common thing, he would keep a bucket of water beside him and a drinking gourd on the mantle, and he would take a drink of water every so often, kind of wet his whistle while he's telling his story. So he's telling his stories. They were ones of adventure and sometimes spooky stories, and this one was a spooky one, and he's getting to the crescendo, and the kids are all kind of nervous and anxious and waiting to be scared, and the gourd begins to rock. Now, the kids are already a bit anxious from their adventures earlier that day, so when they see this, they start to get very scared, and he says, "Oh, don't worry, there's probably just a little mouse in there." So he picks up the gourd to toss the mouse out, looks inside, there's no mouse. Puts it back up, begins the story again, and this happens again. And it keeps happening. Every time he gets kind of to the climax of the story, the gourd begins to rock. And it gets so intense that it almost falls off.
Thank you so much for sharing that. No, you're great. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you more coming up from the cemetery, reporting live. Thank you so much, Tanya. Sending it back to you guys.